It's cold and snowy outside, and conditions are only going to get worse throughout the evening and into tomorrow.
Kevin is here with the latest.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Let's start off in Williston here, getting some reports from our awesome viewers in Williston of about 3 to 4 inches of snow already. We'll take more reports if you got them. 15 degrees, southeast wind at 21. I've had to bump the snowfall forecast totals up a bit here in the 3 to 5 inch range, but may have to reevaluate that again later on tonight. Might be seeing a little bit more of a southward shift here in our system. Snow's coming down rather heavily in Minot. Reduced visibility. Traffic moving along okay, but it is a bone-chilling 5 degrees with an east wind around 15. But that wind is going to be whipping around from the northwest later tonight on the backside of this powerful Alberta Clipper. Right now, we got southeast winds between the high and the low as the air flows from the high toward the low. That means southeast winds in North Dakota and beginning to increase, but that snow field is also increasing in aerial coverage. We got periods of snow moving through the Magic City right now. Again, Williston with snow coming down. It's not far away from Williston that we've got freezing rain, providing a coating on everything around Sydney, as reported by one of our Sky Spies, Fairview as well. So, and more redevelopment around Culbertson here. That could be a mixture of freezing rain and pockets of snow. So it's just going to get even uglier as the night wears on. Big picture here. We're now seeing some snow in the Bismarck-Mandan area because the atmospheric temperature profile is well below freezing. But as far as the moisture, that's beginning to saturate in the atmosphere, meaning the snow aloft is now making contact with the ground. It will pick up in intensity, but still the highest totals are going to be across the north here because we're looking at several more hours of moderate to heavy snow across northern North Dakota. 11 o'clock snapshot tonight. We've got snow across the southern tier, not nearly as much for the southwest corner of the state, but something worth monitoring as this low progresses toward the southeast. Guess what happens? That pressure gradient really tightens up, coupled with high pressure upstream here in Saskatchewan. So what's going to happen is we're going to have winds here between 35 and 45 miles per hour and maybe even gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour in southwest North Dakota. It's going to be a real mess here. And I do think we're going to have many counties under no travel advisories here in the northern tier of the state for our Thursday morning commute. We'll be keeping an eye on it, but colder, calmer weather for tomorrow afternoon. And beyond that, we're looking at temperatures dropping off, everybody below zero by Friday morning. But a big improvement for next week, Christmas week. We'll have more on all the detailed forecasts coming up a little bit later on.
So the type of weather that hits will all depend on where you live, Kevin.
Yeah, that's right. And I just put the word out on social. How much snow, viewers, are you looking at around Williston, Watford City, and getting reports of about 2, 3 inches, maybe upwards of 4 here, and it's still snowing. But I still think that 3 to 5 inch range, which is an increase from earlier in the day. But again, that's the fine-tuning component of this now that we know those heavy snow bands are beginning to form. And we wouldn't know exactly where we were going to see that happen until the storm really began to ramp up, which it's in that stage right now. So snowing in Williston here, again, a few inches already reported. Minot, again, really along US 2. It's going to be a lot more problematic through eastern Montana into North Dakota throughout the night than I-94, despite the fact that we've got snow now falling along the interstate. But later tonight, there's going to be a blowing snow problem, and that morning commute, not pretty. If you have any chance to delay travel until tomorrow afternoon, I would suggest doing that, as conditions will worsen before they get better tomorrow afternoon. Winter storm warning along the northern tier. Now Ward County has been added to that warning because some of those heavier snow bands. Still looking at Williams County under a winter weather advisory, and that could change here. But as far as Montana into southwest North Dakota, it's more or less the wind which is a factor here, with perhaps gusts over 55, even 60 miles per hour. We've got temperatures well below freezing, but it's approaching freezing in Montana. We've got a layer of air several thousand feet above the ground, let's say above Sydney, that's above freezing. So rain falling to sub-freezing air at the surface, but it is 27 degrees. And again, becoming problematic here with upper 20s, meaning freezing rain potential will continue. We've got sleet and freezing rain reported around Belfield, even the Dickinson area, with temperatures way below freezing, so it could be problematic. Again, ice is a lot worse than snow. But it's really going to be bad for everybody considering the blowing snow potential, especially after midnight. It's all about southeast winds right now, but it's that northwest wind kicking in on the backside of the storm tomorrow when things get a lot worse. Snow totals will likely be much higher here across north central North Dakota, 6 to 8 inches just north of Minot, 4 to 6 for the Magic City, a lot less farther south, maybe 1 to 2, possibly 3 for the Bismarck-Mandan area, and again a little bit more questionable around Williston. Might have to back that 2 to 4, maybe 5-inch range toward the western Star City. But southwest North Dakota, not as much, but you got more ice in these areas, maybe a couple hundredths of an inch. And again, that could be problematic in and of itself. 5 to 8 inches in Bottineau, Minot 4 to 6. Williston now bumping the total 3 to 5 inches for a total. Bismarck still looking at 1 to 2. May have to fine tune that here for our 9 or 10 o'clock newscast tonight. And Dickinson still looking at less than an inch. But again, you got a higher ice potential. Into the night, we've got high winds again on the backside of the system. And you couple that wind with that fresh snow, and it's going to cause some blowing snow concerns. And again, I think many counties will go under no travel advisements here, with temperatures already starting to see some single digits across the north here. And we begin to warm up into the night. Believe it or not, we're going to be above freezing in Baker the next several hours. So we got a surge of warm air interacting with that cold air in west central and southwest North Dakota. That's why the freezing rain potential is going to continue here. Backside of the system, watch what happens. Got those gusty snow showers. Look at the wind really beginning to ramp up. We're talking about 30, 40, 50, possibly 60 mile per hour winds here by our Thursday morning commute. The wind stays through noon, and then conditions will improve into the afternoon, and then just getting a lot colder by the time we get to Friday morning. Widespread sub-zero temperatures. At least no wind at that point. Next week, no Alberta Clippers above freezing. Looking pretty good for Christmas time frame.
All right. Well, the timing will be right.
It certainly will.
Thanks. Well, the snow has stopped falling, and in most places, conditions are improving from last night.
But it's still cold and windy, and that could be a problem. Kevin is here with the latest.
Yeah, things are getting better, and I think tonight will be the last night sub-zero the rest of this year, the rest of the month. That means next week, Christmas week, temperatures are definitely looking up. How about this unique Sky Spy photo from yesterday on the Capitol grounds? Capitol flakes here. This was taken by Shannon. Love that Sky Spy photo. Of course, a wintry scene, no doubt about it. Just like this one, Sundogs by Steele. This was taken mid-afternoon. Quite cold when you have all the ice crystals in the air. You've got the sundogs. We've had a lot of sundog photos received. Check them out at skyspyphotos.com. Look at this. Really good news because the center of this high pressure is now up and down the Montana-North Dakota border under the center of the high. The wind is light. So because of that, we're not looking for much wind the remainder of the night here as that high continues moving across the state of North Dakota. It's also the core of the coldest air, and that's settling into the Peace Garden State. We are already sub-zero in Williston, Minot, and Garrison. We'll be there for most other places here the next several hours. Despite the wind dropping, we've got wind chill still running well below zero. Couple snow reports to pass along. A lot of snow across the northern tier of North Dakota, including over 7 inches in Candu, Velva, Max, Harvey, Max Bass, and Kenmare with about 1/2 foot of snow. Even Bismarck with just over 3 inches. Longer term forecast with that great looking Christmas week outlook coming up.
Well, I guess some of us just didn't get enough snow to really enjoy the outdoors, Kevin.
Well, you know what? If you're looking for just a little bit more, I think you're in luck for tomorrow. But the same areas that got snow over the past 24 hours, in other words, southwest North Dakota, may not see a whole lot. Here's the remnants of our system over the weekend now, or rather past 24 hours, moving through the Great Lakes. And this weekend's shaping up to be really nice, but we do have one system on the way before we get there. It comes tomorrow, but right now it's all about this Arctic high pressure, but at least the wind has substantially decreased. And that means temperatures are going to be decreasing too because we're under the center of that high. Under the center of the high, the wind's fairly light. At least the wind chills won't be much lower than the actual temps. It's just that the actual temps are going to be way down there. They'll be in the teens below zero across central and northern North Dakota. single digits below just about everywhere else. And as I mentioned earlier, this could be the last night of the year where we have sub-zero temperatures. Big pattern change on the way for next week. I'll get into that in just a moment. But highs for tomorrow, oh yeah, it's going to be bitterly cold again, but making progress here. Baker at 32. Baker was in the 40s yesterday evening with rain showers. 20 tomorrow in Williston. Again, 15 Bismarck, still in the single digits over eastern North Dakota. But calmer conditions for now. That's the best news of all. The center of that high, again, right on top of us here for the overnight time frame. That means nowhere near the wind we had the past 24 hours. It moves out, and again, the clockwise fashion around which air blows from high pressure to low pressure, meaning more of a light southeast wind for tomorrow in response to our next system. That would be a clipper, but it's a lot weaker than the one that we just had. But it will provide a swath of snow here, mostly light, flurries if anything else here for the mid to late morning time frame. But it will pick up in intensity a little bit here, again taking almost an identical path as the one we had yesterday toward northwest and north central into central North Dakota. Periods of mainly light snow, and the accumulations won't be nearly as high as what we just had here. But again, a snowy afternoon here with temperatures again teens and 20s, a few 30s back toward eastern Montana. But this one slides through, and at least the wind won't be that strong because the center of that cyclone is nowhere near as deep in the atmosphere. So that means the light snow will be tapering off and the wind won't be too problematic at all. How much snow are we looking at from around Williston? Again, US 2 more than, let's say, US 12. Even I-94, chance for maybe an inch of snow east of Dickinson toward the Bismarck-Mandan area into the James and Red River Valley. Pockets of that darker blue, we might see a few areas around 2 inches, but mostly into the afternoon. All right, that's the last in a series of systems. Look at the long-term trend here. Widespread 30s on the way, and that simply includes Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Great travel weather all in all with high temperatures in the 30s. It just keeps on coming. Look at these gifts of joy between the 25th and the 29th here. Palm trees? Okay, maybe not. Might be a bit of a stretch, but low to mid-20s would be the normal highs here and will be in the 30s. Maybe a slight chance for a mix on Sunday. Not much, though. Very weak system. But next week, finally, we're getting our turn. If you like it a little bit milder.
I do. I think most people like it a little bit milder.
And maybe better for travel. That's certainly true over the past 24 hours.
It'll help.
We'll certainly give it a try.